March 31st, 2019. A bright Sunday in South LA, Nipsey Hussle, rapper, activist, builder, steps outside his marathon store to greet fans. Minutes later, 11 shots fracture the afternoon. Nipsey collapses. Two bystanders are hit. A city freezes. Police say the killer was Eric Holder Jr. A jury later agreed. First-degree murder. Case closed. Right? 6 years on, the verdict stands. But the questions, they haven't gone anywhere. To understand the tragedy, we have to understand the man. Born Ermias Joseph Asgadom, Nipsey grew up in Crenshaw, a place where dreams were often cut short. Instead of leaving, he built music, businesses, tech programs for kids, peace initiatives for rivals. More than 10 ventures designed to uplift the streets he came from. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a father, a builder, a voice for those ignored. And maybe that made him dangerous to some. 3:20 p.m., Nipsey arrives at Marathon Clothing. No heavy security, just him, the people, and his vision. He laughs, takes photos, signs autographs. Then Eric Holder appears. They speak. Witnesses recall talk of snitching. But no shouting, no pushing. Calm. Minutes later, Holder returns. 2 guns, 11 bullets. Nipsey falls. His last words, according to witnesses, "You got me." And then Holder kicks him in the head before fleeing. Was this really just rage or something else? Prosecutors said it was simple. Holder was embarrassed, humiliated, and acted out of anger. A neighborhood dispute turned deadly. In 2023, Holder was sentenced to 60 years to life. Case closed. But simplicity is a strange companion to complexity. Nipsey wasn't just a man, he was a movement. And movements attract enemies. Theory 1, the personal feud. Both men are tied to the rolling 60s. They have pride, a reputation to uphold. And then you add the label of snitching, shoots, no pun intended. That's a death sentence in street culture. Prosecutors say Holder storms off, stews, arms up, and returns for payback. Holder may have felt disrespected, but was personal pride enough to justify 11 bullets? And then that vicious kick to Nipsey's head as he lay dying? Was that just rage, humiliation, raw dominance, or a ritualistic finishing act? That detail haunts investigators to this day. But why did the first exchange seem calm? Why use 2 different weapons? And how did his driver not know what was happening, even after watching him load a gun? Personal feud explains some things, but it leaves others in shadow. Theory 2, gang politics. Nipsey was more than a star. He was a bridge, bringing rivals to the same table, funding peace talks, partnering with the city. To some, he was a hero. To others, a disruptor. If street politics influences power, power shifts cause instability. Did someone feel Nipsey's growing reach threaten their own seat at the table? Others believe Nipsey's rising power disrupted old balances. He was pushing peace treaties, funding community projects, even bringing rival gangs to the same table. To some, he was a hero. To others, a threat. Could gang politics, the invisible chess game of reputation, control, and survival, have marked him for death? Theory 3, silence visionary. Then come the whispers of conspiracy. The very next day, Nipsey was scheduled to meet LAPD officials to talk about ending gang violence. At the same time, he was preparing a documentary on Dr. Sebi, the controversial herbalist. Coincidence? Or something darker? The police meeting is fact. The documentary talk is fact. But beyond that, no evidence has ever tied government agencies or shadow groups to the murder. I mean, if Nipsey had a meeting with the LAPD, what alleged reason would be behind potentially killing the person that's helping the LAPD eradicate gang violence? Wouldn't the LAPD have more to gain by wanting gang violence to stop? One theory circulating online, and this remains speculation with no proof, is that some officers or a small corrupt network might have had informal arrangements. These could involve informants, deals with traffickers, or other misconduct. In that theory, a high-profile meeting with Nipsey could have threatened to expose those arrangements. The reason why some people find this a plausible theory is the history of scandal in the past that shows individual officers or units have acted corruptly and sometimes violently. A powerful community figure like Nipsey pushing reform could threaten those arrangements. Again, this is pure speculation and has no factual validity to it. But if Nipsey planned to publicly name or expose community informants or surveillance practices as part of a reform push, that could jeopardize ongoing operations or relationships, creating incentive for hostile actors to act. After all, police rely on human sources and surveillance. Sudden public attention on tactics can disrupt operations and motivate secrecy. I mean, there's no evidence proving this, but rather than the police, criminal actors could fear Nipsey's peace efforts would destabilize their operations, reduce recruitment, and interrupt profits. They might prefer the status quo and act to stop a unifier. This is just another theory that's plausible but unfounded. We all know that in the hood, a power shifts in their underground economy can produce violent pushback. Nipsey's influence could erode a criminal group's ability to recruit or control territory. All in all, we found one fact everyone agrees on. Eric Holder was convicted for Nipsey's death. So even though history shows institutions have at times surveilled and disrupted Black organizers, and the Black community as a whole distrusts the police, modern surveillance technology has shown how agencies can and do monitor activists. Still, history, COINTELPRO, surveillance, systemic betrayal, teaches communities not to trust the official story at face value. There are still loose ends that keeps this mystery alive. Why the kick to the head? Message or rage? Why did the getaway driver walk free? Why was Nipsey alone without his usual security on that day? Why was a wounded bystander jailed for standing beside him? None of these prove conspiracy, but each fuels suspicion. These are all questions, and we all know that questions are not proof. Eric Holder sits in prison for life. That's justice on paper. But closure, that belongs to the community. And for many in Los Angeles, closure is missing. Was this just a hot-blooded killing over one word? Or the final move in a much larger game? Nipsey's name did not end that day. His foundation mentors kids. His businesses employ families. His murals tower above Crenshaw, lighthouses in the night. If you measure a man by what he builds for others, Nipsey Hussle is still alive. So what do you believe? A personal feud, street politics, or a silenced visionary? Drop your theories in the comments. Let's investigate this together. And don't forget to like, share, and smash the notification bell.